While watching birds, we often believe that we know everything about them. They surround us everywhere, in the sky, courtyards and city parks. Some birds were domesticated long time ago. People have learned to breed them since ancient times. But the majority of birds are free inhabitants of steppes, forests and mountains, living according to the laws of nature. The world of birds is amazing, unknown and sometimes even mysterious. You can see it for yourself. First, we'll visit the Poultry Yard in one of the farms in the foothills of Trans-Ili Alatau. This is a typical country turkey farm. Take a look at this handmade roost made from simple wood planks. Here we have feed, a lamp quite powerful to keep the chicks warm, and of course a large friendly flock where everyone constantly looks at one another. Turkey poults are very friendly social animals. They will never attack another species of birds. I can tell that one of these birdlings is a chicken. It is a full-fledged member of the group. That large crest on its head distinguishes it from the others. That black one, standing in the center. Few people know that the turkeys are close relatives of pheasants, an ambiguous creature with an exciting and rich history. Biologists say that turkeys originated from America and were brought to the Eurasian continent by Christopher Columbus. Wild turkeys make loud, distinctive sounds that are heard throughout the neighborhood. Turns out only males gobble. This is how they warn rivals that the territory is occupied and also attract females. There is clearly a battle for leadership in this small flock between two handsome turkey toms, white and speckled. But apparently the leader is a white one. See how it swells, how it gurgles. And females simply can't stop looking at it. While turkeys nest in April, females are selfless mothers capable of raising up to 20 big healthy chicks. This trait of birds is used by pragmatic farmers. Now we look inside the inner sanctum, the turkey kingdom. Have a look. Turkeys are the best mothers, and farmers know it. Turkey will hatch not only their own poults, but also chickens, goslings, ducklings, everyone really. The main thing is that the number of eggs must be odd. Here I see 9 turkey poults and 2 little chickens. Turkey has a very strong maternal instinct. Following the call of nature, the young bird that has just hatched poults is ready to sit down again on a new laying. Let's try and lift up this turkey. Oh, look at all those eggs. But turkey eggs are speckled. These are spotted. These are white ones. Whiter ones are chicken eggs. But turkeys brood them as if they are their own. It is not easy to breed turkey poults. They are very delicate. If it falls over, it may break its little leg. They can't peck seeds on the concrete. Their beaks might break, leading to poults' death. Poults can catch cold, so it is important that the temperature in the room for chicks is 30, and when they are just hatched, even 32 degrees Celsius. The first month after the hatching is the most difficult one. They are extremely vulnerable. They are vulnerable to temperature changes and they are afraid of water. Therefore, farmers think through every detail. See, this is a drinking bowl. It is made so that the poult's feet do not touch the water, so they don't catch a cold. Farmers change the water every day. Look at the chick feeder. This is for so-called starter feed. Its protein content is about 30%. They won't get dirty by trampling this forage. They just pack and eat it, gain weight. Also, turkeys must have sand, sawdust and preferably ash. What for? Well, it's not like they have shampoo or soap. Birds bathe in the ashes.
А вы знаете, почему фермеры любят держать индюков?
Have you ever wondered why farmers like breeding turkeys? Because it is very inexpensive. Apart from traditional grain, wheat and barley, turkeys really like grasshoppers and meadow grass. Now we'll try to feed them. But most of all, they love clover and young leaves of this decorative cabbage. Let's see whether birds are hungry or not. I know that females will never refuse some grass, just like women. Women love arugula and hence love cabbage. Let's eat.
Самки никогда не откажут себе в травке. Они же как женщины. Женщины любят рукколу, а эти капусту. Ну так, давайте покушаем.
Wild turkeys can fly. They can fly quite fast, about 80 kilometers per hour. However, they are rarely seen in the sky as they prefer to eat grass, seeds, berries and insects on the ground. The myth of the inability of turkeys to fly comes from the fact that many types of domestic turkeys, for example broad-breasted white turkey, can't fly at all. Even young turkeys can flee. Adults can fly over a distance of several hundred meters. It's hard to believe, but such fully grown individuals still graze in the forests of North America. This is commercial game species. Roasted turkey for Thanksgiving dinner is an American tradition. Very soon, tiny turkey chicks will come out for a walk in the field, and they will start growing much faster because of the sun, natural food, fresh air, diet, and proper nutrition. What else would they need? They will grow very fast. To protect little pearls from hawks and such things happen here, farmers have little shepherds looking after the birds. 2 or 3 boys, instead of playing football, are keeping the herd safe. Turkeys have a periscopic vision. Many hunters know that this bird's sight is very good. Having eyes located on both sides of its head, allowing for periscopic vision, turkeys can see objects that are not in the direct field of vision. Here, have a look. Such expressive eyes this turkey chick has, such strong feet. It is not afraid of humans. In case of danger, it can instantly hide, lie low, pretending to be a small bush. This is how little birds behave when hawks appear in the sky. I think this one is thirsty. We should probably let it go. The Trans-Ili Alatau Mountains is one-of-a-kind natural ecosystem. There are all kinds of landscapes, dry Kazakh steppes alternating with dense coniferous and deciduous forests, high alpine meadows and rocky peaks covered with snow. There are hundreds of bird species in these mountains. To learn more about local feathered fauna, we visited the only nursery for birds of prey in Kazakhstan. How comfortable are the birds in this alpine climate? The purpose of our farm is to revive the extinct or endangered bird species. Birds of Kazakhstan and Almaty in particular. All the birds that inhabit our farm are either extinct or endangered in wildlife of Kazakhstan.
Они все или исчезли, или исчезают с природы Казахстана.
Seika falcons are the pride of the farm. Up until the early 90s of the last century, the population of this bird in Kazakhstan was quite large. Today, Seika falcons are red-listed. The sharp decline in this species was caused by numerous reasons: the use of pesticides in agriculture, electrification in the falcons' area of habitat, and mass capturing for export, where they were purchased by falconry connoisseurs. In some areas of Kazakhstan, especially in southeast region, the Seika falcon has practically disappeared. In 1989, a nursery was established to breed local species of birds of prey. They bought the first 13 Seika falcons from the Almaty Zoo. At the moment, there is a breeding stock in the farm, 450 endangered birds of prey species. What do you feed them with? What are we feeding birds with? These are birds of prey. They only eat meat. The main food source is day-old chicks, which we buy from our local poultry farms. But the best foods for our pets are rats. Therefore, we have a vivarium which currently has 20,000 rats. But this is not enough for us. We dream, we want, and in the near future we'll make a larger vivarium. Breeding birds is a laborious task requiring financial investments and scientific knowledge. It requires specialists who know the subtleties of the behavior of birds of prey and the features of their reproduction, such as Tatiana Doronina, who met us in a vivarium, a place for breeding rats. Do falcons feed on rats in the wild? They feed on voles, mice, and their close relatives. Here we stick to breeding rats because they are omnivorous. Rats and mice feed mainly on grains, and here we have a varied feed. There are not many animals that eat everything: grain, vegetables, fruits, and meat. Humans, bears, and rats are omnivorous. For normal reproduction, you would need all three ingredients in the right amount and preferably of good quality.
Для нормального, хорошего размножения как раз вот все эти три ингредиента обязательно нужны в достаточном количестве и, желательно лучшего качества.
Do rats breed well? We have an average productivity of 10 rats.
Вот у нас средняя продуктивность сейчас 10 крысяток.
We calculated falcons consume about 150,000 chickens a month, several thousand of rats. It requires a real food factory to maintain such population of birds of prey. They're even growing barley here in their own subsidiary farm. What for? To feed the rats. And the rats are fed to Seika falcons. Real food chain. These birds of prey require thorough care to be able to breed in captivity. According to Galina Osipova, everything matters. Keeping the aviary clean and tidy, disinfecting it, and not disturbing birds during the breeding season. As you know, the birds perform courtship rituals to find a mate. We interfere a little with process because we want lighter-colored birds to mate with even whiter one.
Светлая птица спаривалась еще с более светлой птицей.
We believe that black falcons should mate with blacker ones. So, for the last 30 years, we've been engaged in selective breeding.
То есть мы селекцией занимаемся 30 лет.
The farm staff is proud. There are no such unusually beautiful birds in the wild. The selection provided excellent results. The collection of Kazakhstani purebred Seika falcons is unique. The Sumkar farm was recognized by the experts of the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, CITES, as one of the best in the world.
Сколько яиц?
How many eggs does the female lay? The maximum number of eggs in a clutch is 5, maybe 3 or 4, but maximum 5 eggs. We have learned, however, how to outwit nature. Naturally, the female, after laying 5 eggs, is still able to brood again. So, after she does so, we take these 5 eggs and transfer them to the incubator, and then these eggs hatch there. Without eggs to sit on, the female will lay 5 more eggs in 10-15 days. That is the rule of nature. She will sit on these eggs.
Самка может снести еще 5 яиц. Вот на этих яйцах она будет сидеть. Ее яйца переносим в инкубатор.
Does the female then raise 10 chicks? We've also got nursing females. In nature, a single bird can lay 5 eggs, while nursing female can take care of 12 chicks at once.
Могут вырастить сразу 12.
Are Seika falcons good mothers? Very good. One female can feed not 5 but 12 chicks. Therefore, we pamper them.
Балуем.
We visited the very heart of the falcon farm, the incubator. Here they've got computers that change air humidity and monitor the conditions of the eggs. Why is it important? In nature, the female turns the eggs around its axis every 2 hours so that the embryo won't stick to the egg shell. They do so intuitively, it is inherent. People have created a small incubator that rotates eggs around its axis by moving this small carriage. We see the rotation, the plates rotate, and the egg rotates accordingly. What is the temperature here? Normal temperature is 37.3 degrees Celsius. If the temperature rises, the eggs may fry, and if cooled, it can freeze. The embryo will die. The computer strictly monitors this. Thus, you are adjusting the nature. In the wild, some of the chicks would die, but here everyone survives. Not exactly. Our chicks will survive, but if the embryo is weak, there are all kinds of selections. At the moment, the incubator is empty because it is not the season yet. The chicks have already hatched, and these treasures are empty, waiting for their turn. On the 1st of March, new Seika falcon eggs will be brought here. Falcons grow fast. They tend to grow strong by the end of summer already. Now we need to prepare them to be released into the wild. They need to be taught to hunt and defend themselves from enemies. We have special aviaries for little chicks, and we use the principles of nature. We know that while chicks are in the nest, they memorize surrounding territory. They won't leave the nest for 30 days precisely. Using this principle, we put the chicks in the nest and feed them at the same time 2 times a day. They sit in the nest, eat and look around. They remember this territory as their nest. When we feel that the chicks are ready to fly into the wild, we open the aviary and all these birds fly away. Falcons are flying to a nearby rock that is located next to their nest. Here, wild dangerous predators won't be able to get them. Both eagle, owl and crow can prey on young falcons. Therefore, the farm staff constantly watches the younglings. There is a special watchtower near the rock, and I'm curious to look at the aviary, a home for birds of prey. It's a very peculiar structure, 2-storied, I would say, with huge doors. This is the aviary, a place where birds adapt for life in the wild. This is the place where 30 days old falcons will fly out from. They fly to the wonderful rock right there. They fly around the mountains and hunt, and come back to spend the night. At the moment there are owls here, nocturnal predators with large eyes. But in the spring, other guests, the sake of falcons' chicks, will settle in here. I leave the aviary so as not to disturb the birds, and we continue the conversation about falcons with Galina Afanasyevna. Will the younglings migrate to warmer places like their wild relatives? We can't say this for sure, since we cannot observe them after the release. There is no reason for them to fly away because the feeding base in Kazakhstan is pretty good. It is also not so cold here. We convert 30% of the grown birds into breeding stock, 30% are released into the wild, and we have the right to sell the remaining 30%. We don't release those birds in the wild ourselves. We transfer them to the Institute of Zoology, and the Institute of Zoology releases them in their natural areas of habitat.
Институт зоологии выпускает в местах их раннего обитания.
The farm carried out one of the young falcons' releases into the wild in 2007 together with the Institute of Zoology and the Forestry Committee. We were lucky to witness the preparations for this event. 60 young birds were selected. The staff attached a ring to every bird which contained personal number and data about the origin of the bird. This is some sort of a passport. Beforehand, every chick was implanted with a microchip. Now, with a scanner, one can easily read its number and track the fate of the bird wherever it goes. Young falcons spent almost a month in special enclosures built in the foothills of Trans-Ili Alatau. This place was chosen for a reason. Here, the old nesting sites of the falcon remain, as well as colonies of the gerbil, the main food source for falcons. This makes it easier for young birds to adapt to such a natural environment. Ornithologists placed smallest chicks into the nests of buzzards located in hard-to-reach mountain crevices. At first, young chicks were fed, monitored and protected from their natural enemies, for example, an eagle owl. According to zoologists, most of those released birds have taken root in a new place and already gave offspring. In just 30 years of the existence of the Sunkar farm, 875 Seika falcons, as well as dozens of golden eagles and other birds of prey, were released into the wild. There are not only falcons in your collection, you've also got bearded vultures. What is interesting about this bird? Firstly, this bird is unique in appearance and in color. This bird reaches reproduction age at 10 years old. Its lifespan is about 70 years. The most interesting thing is that the chick's plumage is completely different from the adult birds. Ugly, with black smudges and little smeared feathers. And when it turns 10 and is ready to breed, it develops a white breast, white pants, feathers like black necklaces on a white breast. It has little red eyes and a noticeable beard. The bearded vulture is sometimes called lammergeier. This bird is from the hawk family, feeds on carrion, including the remains and bones of domestic animals. These birds practically never breed in captivity. But 3 years ago there was a sensation in the farm. One of the bearded females laid an egg. This incident has gained the attention of ornithologists from all around the world. There are also houbara bastards in this farm. This extremely rare and endangered species behaves exactly like common chickens. The only difference is that they are extremely timid. We try not to disturb them, walk very quietly, and will leave these enclosures soon. The falcon farm is funding itself. This is a complex providing various types of services. There are walking tours and a free school of falconry Uzbeki. There are facilities for recreation and entertainment. The proceeds are spent on feeding the birds. We were amused by watching the show of birds of prey with the visitors from the city. The show is conducted by the leading falconer of the farm, Pavel Fanda. What do you want to show people with your performance? The idea is that we open the curtain, and behind this curtain there is a world of birds of prey. You sit here, how many birds do you see? Look at the sky, there is a kite. But it flies at such a distance that what you see is a dot. Falconry allows us to bring bird close to a person, and at the same time it won't be sitting bored as in a zoo, dying year after year in a cage. The bird will fly, it will be active, it will be very close to you, yet it is free at the same time. That is, roughly speaking, we've combined the zoo and falconry and made our performance.
The
show of birds of prey is one of a kind. The author and director of the show, Pavel Fanda, considered every detail with a deep expertise on the matter. From ancient times, the Sacred falcon was considered one of the best hunting birds. It is a strong and fast bird. The speed, especially at a dive, reaches 300 kilometers per hour. From ancient times, the inhabitants of the steppe used the hunting instincts of birds of prey to hunt for wolves or Cossack foxes. Now falconry is a heritage of Kazakhs' ancestors that is almost forgotten. One of the objectives of the performance is to revive old traditions of hunting with birds of prey. And don't forget that this is still a show. It should be unusual, vibrant, and unforgettable. We have several lines along which our show develops. First, it develops from simple to complex. We come out with a chick which can't do anything. And we tell the audience that we have different stages of preparation for hunting birds. Here, for example, is a bird that we just trained to sit on a hand. This also is not easy. The bird is no longer afraid to sit on a hand. Look at us. It is able to eat a piece of meat even at our presence. That's all. The next bird can do more. I say that is a kindergarten level. It can fly to the glove. The third bird goes to a sports college. It flies like a bullet. It's a falcon in the sky. And finally, we show the golden eagle, which, as we say, has a high education. It is flying to us from the mountain. I'm riding a horse. The golden eagle grabs the wolf's skin. So this is the scenario, and people watch the show. This incoherence of the falconer's work with birds is the result of many years of tireless work. A bird of prey cannot be trained. They don't understand punishment like any social animal, including humans. Birds don't have a hierarchy of submission. They are not social beings. They either live in pairs if they fall in love or lead a single life. Birds of prey have one task. They need to catch someone, and their head was created for this task. They have a phenomenal memory, especially visual. I have to create a situation in which the bird will do what I need, and then I reward it. This makes bird training almost impossible, but we do it anyway. Birds of prey are trained to hunt for small game, right in front of the audience. And most importantly, the falconer demonstrates various ways of hunting with birds of prey, which were common among different peoples of the world. The second part of the show is to present different types of birds of prey. We have about 40 species in Kazakhstan. We can't show all of them, we'll work on contrasts. First, we show an owl of a smaller size. The second bird is also an owl, but this is a large owl, weighing about 2.5–3 kilograms. And during the second half, we demonstrate few interesting birds of prey. One of them is a sea eagle. You just saw two huge lakes. So the sea eagle would snatch out fish on a flight from these lakes. The next ones are scavenging birds. Birds are not just our neighbors on this planet. The life of many birds is inextricably linked with humans' life. In the world of birds, we find good omens, symbols and role models, as well as lots of things unknown but useful. And we'll get back to the secrets of the feathered inhabitants of forests, steppes and mountains. So it's time for our next trip to the world of nature of Kazakhstan.